Sabbath, but I've been trying. I've not done a good job at doing these Bible promises live each day, but today it's Sabbath. I didn't end up going to church today. So I'm doing our promise for today live. And our promise, by the way, I'm Kimberly Guthrie, the voice behind this channel. Our promise for today, I'm reading from my new Bible. It's the NLT version, and it's from James 4, verse 2. And it says, "You want what you don't have, so you scheme and kill to get it. You are jealous of what others have, but you can't get it. So if you fight and wage war to take it away, so you fight and wage war to take it away from them. Yet you don't have what you want because you don't ask God for it." And that's the part that I want to focus on. Like, is it a promise? Absolutely. It's a promise that if you ask, you will receive. I think sometimes some of us get caught up in looking at what other people have. We get caught up in seeing other people thrive and other people succeed, and we backbite and we fight instead of trying to figure out. First of all, everything that somebody else has isn't yours. We all have our different strengths, we all have our different paths to walk, and you will need different tools and different resources along the journey depending on the path that you've chosen, or depending on the path that's yours. And so it's not everything that somebody else has that you're supposed to want. However, this looks a little lean. However, James here is saying to the people who they were having all sorts of issues in the community, issues of backbiting, issues of bad mind and grudgefulness, according to Jamaicans. There were several issues that they were facing. And generally, instead of starting and with the whole, peace be unto you and brothers and sisters, James wanted to address the issue head on. And he's saying to them, you see others with things, yeah? First of all, verse 1 says, "What is causing the quarrels and fights among you? Do they come from the evil desires at war within you?" What in your community is causing the divisiveness? What is causing the trouble? What is causing the lack of unity? Is it from desires that are evil, that are within you? And then he's saying you want what you don't have, and so you scheme and kill to get it. Yet you are jealous of the others who have. And the reason you don't have is because you don't ask. So the promise here is that if we ask, we will receive. What is it that you are seeking today from God? What is it that you need? All you have to do is ask, yeah? We do not receive because we just fail to ask. And sometimes we fail to ask because maybe you asked before and you didn't get that thing. But you have to ask. We also have to recognize that not everything we ask God for we're going to get, because sometimes we ask him for things that are not in alignment with his will for us. Sometimes we ask him for things that we're not ready for. It's almost like when I was going to high school, we used to have what we call mock exams, and these mock exams would take them in the lead up to external exams, CXCs, right? And so if I were to just get up one day and say I'm going to do CXCs, chances are I might not pass because I wasn't prepared. And some of the trials and tribulations and the tests that we go through sometimes, these are mock exams or external exams or big thing, for that big thing that you're asking God for. But because we refuse to go through these different hurdles and these different steps, we ask God for something and we're not ready for it. And if he were to give it to us, it would become a curse. That blessing could easily become a curse. And so sometimes we ask and we don't receive, and we get upset and angry with God. But it's for our best. God is trying to protect us sometimes. Sometimes we ask God for a car, for example, but you don't have a driver's license. You ask God for all these different things that we're not prepared for. And so God, in his divinity and out of his love for us, he's saying, hold on, I'm going to give you, but not yet. Yeah, I have a story of my nephew called me some time ago, and he asked me for something. And the moment he asked me, my sister says I'm weak for him, but the moment he asked me, I knew I was going to give it to him. But I said to him, wait and I'll let you know in the morning, what my decision is. I already knew. And sometimes God does the same thing to us, where we go and we ask him for things and he's like, wait, let's check, let's circle back in the morning, or let's circle back tomorrow. And so because our experience is that we asked before and we didn't receive, so we decide that we're not going to ask again. Or he said, wait. Yeah, but we have to trust that God knows what's best for us. And one of the things I've been praying about fervently is trying to figure out what God's will is for me, because the Bible says, I don't remember the text offhand, no, but there's a text that says, anything you ask according to God's will, he will grant it unto you. Jeff says, so there's no purpose to ask God for anything because he knows better. No, there is purpose in asking God for everything. I'm going to liken it to like a relationship with my nephew, or a parent and child. My nephew knows that I have money. Yeah, I'm not rich or anything, but he knows I have more money than he does. And so I have the money. He knows he has access to it, but he has to come and ask me for it, because I'm not going to, just give it to him. I need him to come to me and ask me. And in us going to God and asking God for things, it's not that he doesn't know, but I think it's more of a relationship that he wants to form with us. So he wants us to be in communion with him. He wants us to talk to him. And that's one of the ways we talk to God, by going to him and asking him for things. But we just don't go to God and ask for things. We go to God and we're thankful. We go to God with gratitude. So Jeff, I don't know if that answers your question, but asking God for things is the communion, because God, one of the things he desires more than anything else is to be with us in relationship. He wants us to talk to him. He wants us to commune with him, and asking him for things is one way. But circling back to the text, the promise for today is that we have not because we do not ask. And so the moral, or the message in it, is that to receive, we need to ask. And we need to ask prepared to receive. Do not ask God for anything that you are not prepared to receive. I have a thing up on my Instagram where I was in Jamaica recently. My best friend and I were walking in New Kingston. It was raining and we had a tiny umbrella. I was passing by and I saw this random guy with a really big umbrella, and something prompted me to ask him. I'm like, can I have your umbrella? In my head, I was going to give him my smaller umbrella if he said yes, and then I'd take his. He will give me the umbrella. And my response to him was, are you sure? And I kept asking him, are you sure? And my best friend said to me, no, stop. You asked him for it. Be prepared to receive it. If he didn't say yes, he'd have no reason why he ought to give it to me, because I'm a stranger and he does not know me. Why is this frozen? Let's talk about the big picture stuff. If I ask God to stop the killing in whatever country, your answer is God knows better and he has a plan. We also have to remember, is this frozen? I don't know if you're still seeing me. I'm frozen on my screen. Jeff, since you're here and you're typing, can you let me know if you're still seeing me? Okay, there we go. Thank you so much. So you're asking, let's talk about the big picture stuff. If I ask God to stop the killing in whatever country, your answer is God knows better and he has a plan. My answer to that, I'm no expert, but my answer to that is that even though God knows everything and God knows better, we also have a choice. We're not made as robots. One of the things God values more than anything else is our freedom to choose. And so we still have the freedom to choose, because the killings are being done by human. It's us who are doing it. And so while God will prompt our hearts and he will tell us, we know right from wrong, and he'll say, don't do this. At the end of the day, the choice is ours whether we're going to kill or not. What he promises, though, is at some point, all of this will end. Yeah, it's in Revelation, all of this will end. There'll be no more killing. There'll be none of that. But in the meantime, we have the choice, because even though we ask God for something and he will give it to us, the choice is then ours how we're going to use that thing. right? So it all comes down to freedom of choice. But he promises that at some point, all of this is going to end. All the killing, all the death, all the dying, all of that. I don't know if that is a sufficient answer for you, Jeff. If it's not, you can tell me and we can, we can try to figure it out together. But from my understanding, we still have the freedom to choose. Sin has left like a really bad mark on us. Sin has us doing all sorts of different things. And so God is there prompting us to choose what's right, to choose his way, which is the best way and the better way. I hope that helps. If it does not, please feel free to tell me, and I'll go back and do some more research if that's necessary, and I'll come back, right? But I didn't choose to have cancer, but God has a plan for my terrible diarrhea. I didn't choose. I don't think we choose some of the things. Life happens, yeah? Cancer, sometimes it's genetics. Sometimes it's as a result of what we eat. It's as a result of our diet. Sometimes it's a result of our environment. And so what we can choose to do in that moment. My dad died from cancer, so I'm pretty familiar with it. I've lost a number of people to cancer. Did they choose it? Absolutely not. But some things happen to us as a result of the fact that we live in a sinful world. And because we live in a sinful world, life happens. Some things happen. We don't choose them. Or perspective, though, we can choose on how we deal with some things. Yeah. But just going back to the promise for today, James 4 verse 2, we have not because we ask not. So today, if there's something you're needing, ask God for it and be prepared to receive whatever it is that you've asked for. But if you don't get it, know that God has a reason. It's probably no, because it's not good for you in the long run, or it's wait, or maybe he will deliver it just as soon as you ask. I hope that helps, and that's a promise for today. Thank you, Jeff, for being here. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye.